Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to try an experiment. Hey dude, did you hear that the Leafs are 1-3 in the preseason so far?
Well, dude, we can't overreact, okay? It's only the preseason.
Yeah, that's true. Oh look, I made a mistake. They're actually 3-1.
Dude, I am so excited for this team. I can't even tell you. Honestly, seriously, I think they're gonna go all the way.
Let's recap the Leafs preseason so far, shall we? Now the Leafs got off to a bit of a shaky start with a 3-2 loss against the Boston Bruins. Some people have the right to bear arms, but the Bruins got the right to arm bears. Could you imagine? The next game the Leafs went on to a 4-0 victory against the Philly Flyers. Some people are labeling the Flyers as a contender this year. Halfway through the third game of the preseason, the Penguins are beating the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then news breaks out that Phil Kessel has been traded. And the Leafs said, "You mean there's even less spots available? Boys, pick up your socks." And they went on to a 4-3 victory. And for the fourth game in my first ever live blog, thank you, the Leafs had a rematch with the Philly Flyers in what was maybe the most entertaining of the 4 games so far. The Flyers have the Leafs at a 4-2 deficit. Enter Nicholas Hagman. Easily one of the sickest goals of the preseason so far. Gonna start calling him Nicholas Hangman, because if you don't cover him properly, you're dead. Boscheman ties it, Hangman pots another one, and the Leafs are 3-1 in preseason play. Who has impressed you so far? Here's my picks. The fact that Ron Wilson said Lee Stempniak might be the most improved Leaf coming out of camp is a big statement. I can't disagree too much. I mean, I would like him to produce more, but he's definitely a lot faster out there. So is Stajan. But if we're going to talk about speed demons, Tyler Bozak is sick. And there's a few guys throughout the exhibition games that are competing for spots where you say, oh, he might make it, he could make it, he should make it. If Bozak doesn't make it, I don't know what they're thinking. Stallberg, even though he's getting a bit banged up, is another one of those guys. He has made such a legitimate case to stay with the big club. I think it's going to be a real difficult decision if they choose to send him back to the Marlies. And what about Nazem Kadri? Scores his first preseason goal in his home rink of London, Ontario. I couldn't have even written that better myself. His hands and just his vision for the game is impeccable. One question I kept getting during the live chat was, do you think Nazem Kadri will actually stick with the Leafs? And my answer was, probably not, and it still is, because here's your options. All rookies go through growing pains. The Teemu Selanis, Alex Ovechkin, Sidney Crosbys, those don't happen very often. And he may stick with the Leafs, but in a full 82-game season with professional hockey players, full-grown men, do you really see this guy with a full-time role? And then there's going back to the OHL. Last year in the OHL, Nazem Kadri finished 1 point behind Matt Duchene for 15th in OHL scoring. In a season where he not only missed some time for Team Canada's World Junior Camp, but he also broke his jaw. And if you send him back to the OHL this year, he stands a very good chance of winning a gold medal with Team Canada, going deep in the OHL playoffs, and also finishing in the top 10 in league scoring. Or he could stick with the Leafs and score 10-15 goals, and that's fine. I'd rather see the Leafs take the Cody Hodgson approach to him and let him dominate in junior and then let him go to pro. You never know, maybe he exceeds expectations and scores 30. What do you think? Leafs also made some cuts. Robert Slaney, Fila Reskovic, and Mikhail Stefanovic are all some of the names that got cut from the Leafs roster and sent to the Marlies. Another name on that cut list, goalie James Reimer. Now, after seeing him get a shutout in his first ever AHL game last year, I had high hopes for James Reimer. Personally, though, I was a little disappointed with his preseason. This is the ECHL playoff MVP from last season. It'll be interesting to see how he bounces back in his first full year of professional hockey with the Marlies. But the most concerning part of this preseason for me, Gustafsson. Now, I know they said the heart procedure he had was minor and he should be healthy, but he's also missing a lot of valuable playing time. And they're saying not to worry, but are you worried? Which brings me to the topic of toughness. Now guys like Komisarek or Exelby, they're all showing that they're tough enough for this team. But what about a guy like Rosehill? And this guy's feisty and he's not afraid of anybody, and he can play a little bit of puck as well. I wonder, does he have what it takes to crack this lineup? And last but not least, what's going to happen with Jason Allison? And he's working hard this preseason, because when he's not trying to set up plays, he's ripping helmets in half. He just cracked that thing in half like he was making an omelet. But when you got guys coming up like Bozak, Stallberg, and Hansen, has Allison impressed you enough to make this team? I got a lot of questions, guys. Do you have the answers? Post your blog and video responses. Or else he'll send Jason Allison to destroy your helmet. Peace, and enjoy the rest of the preseason. Who's going to win those remaining spots? We'll have to see.